All right, it's your boy David and Wendy.
Hello.
We are here with you live, Tampa, Florida, and we're coming at you live today about with a video more about don't move to Florida if you can't handle these 5 things. Don't even think about it. Don't consider it. It's not for you. We're going to start off with Wendy kind of going into a little bit more about the first thing, which is weather. Take it away.
Weather in Florida is actually pretty diverse. Everybody thinks because it's Florida it's hot and it's warm all the year, but it's not. The temperature in Florida can go as low as 20 degrees and then go as high as a feel of over 100 degrees. It is very diverse. It is definitely not snow, but during the winter you can actually feel cold because of the humidity. It's a little colder even though it's supposed to be warmer. But then the one thing that really will affect you is the summer. Summers are beautiful, but summers are very humid. The temperature right now is 92 degrees and I can tell you it feels way hotter than that. It's probably over 100 feel. And if you can't handle humidity, it's definitely not a place you want to move because the humidity is high.
I love the humidity, you know, because it is kind of a negative, like Wendy's saying. It's humid out. It is in the 90s, but it is a real feel of like 103, I think, currently. But the humidity also, at least for me, like it makes your skin feel like you have lotion on. You don't even have to use lotion. I don't even look at this. I mean, no lotion, no nothing. I have a baby face over here. Jeez, look at this. So a cool little fact about it is actually Tampa in general has roughly about 244 days of sunlight. Let that sink in for a little bit there. Sometimes in the deep summer, so like we're talking like August, September time, like August really, I'm like, man, it has been so light out. There hasn't been like a cloudy day. You get kind of, at least for me, I get a little like kind of want a little diversity in the weather there, but it's actually a good thing. So that's a cool thing about that. Within weather also, there's also like, hey, if you can't handle big storms, and by big storms we mean like tropical, kind of like big tropical rains that are coming in. You have the big, like obviously like the hurricanes and all that stuff, as well as, if you didn't know, Tampa Bay Lightning is actually the lightning capital of the United States, with roughly, I think it was about 1.2 million lightning strikes yearly. And definitely we can attest to that, because during like any big storm, you're always, man, every 2 seconds the whole sky is lighting up for like hours upon hours, and it gets intense.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get caught in a storm here in Florida. It is not as gentle as that drizzle that happens in Michigan or in Chicago, that you kind of just get a little wet here and there. Down here, you need to be indoors if it's raining. It is really high intensity rain. It is gonna get you soaked just getting out of the car into your house if you are not parking indoors.
Yeah. So again, if you can't handle that, Florida, you might want to take another look. That might not be for you. Now, number 2 on the list is the bugs and wildlife. And I know Wendy has a pretty big run. She has a run-in with some of the insects on a daily basis, and you know, our kids. You probably jump in here in a little bit, but you know they're always saying, "Mama's killing things." Why? Because there's, you know, you always have little fire ants running around. You have like, it doesn't matter where you are in Florida, you always have, it always seems to be like cockroaches running around everywhere. You're like, man, is my place dirty? We just got it bombed. Like, what? It's literally a Florida thing. It's like a southern thing. The bugs. Go ahead about it.
Yes. I think of all the bugs, the worst are probably fire ants. I don't know if you ever been bit by a fire ant, but it is fire. Fire. And it's not just one. It's never just one. And sadly, our son is actually kind of allergic to the bite of fire ants, and he loves them because he loves to stick his finger in the fire ant hill and eat blisters. That is probably the one thing I hate the most. That and snakes. I do not like snakes. Me and them have a very respectful relationship. I don't like them, they don't like me, and we're okay with that.
Yeah, and talking about snakes too, there's actually about 6 different species of snakes here in Florida. A lot of which you have to be, I mean, I treat all snakes as if they're poisonous. I don't care like what they look like. I actually just saw a snake the other day. Texted you a big, they're called black racers. They're like bigger, they're not really big, but they're like pretty good sized snakes. They're really fast. That's why they call them racers. But there's 6 different species of snakes down in Florida. But beyond that, you got your bobcats. You got your, obviously you got your like bobcats. What do you call that?
Panthers,
Panthers. You got some bear in Tampa's been running around loose in the Tampa Bay area recently.
It's actually pretty cute.
We're watching pictures.
If you're not close.
Yeah, and obviously got the alligators and all that good stuff. So if you can't handle the big wildlife and the small critters, I mean, you probably have roaches about the size of your finger, kind of running around on your, in your kitchen or wherever. If that's going to be something that's going to be a huge deterrent from you, Florida might not be for you. Now, number 3 is tourism. I'll let Wendy talk a little bit about that.
Now, we all know not everybody in Florida is from Florida. And we have a very diverse driving population. I mean, we have the people that like to take it slow, safe, and easy. And then we have our, no offense, New Yorkers. I call them New Yorkers because if you're a New Yorker, your driving skills are above everybody else's. No one else is gonna beat you in traffic, and everybody knows that. So we have this person going slow while you have this other person trying to cut them off. Doesn't matter how big the distance is. It's a very wild thing. So we have the residents, we have the tourists are coming in and they just want to get to the fun. It is actually a very wild road, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, so in terms of tourism too, the Tampa Bay area actually yearly we get about 24 million tourists in the Tampa Bay, Clearwater, St. Petersburg area yearly. So let that sink in. So just like Wendy's saying there, obviously you get the diverse, you have the people like us that are Floridians now, right? I think we
got used to it.
We call Floridians, but then you also have the tourists. So you're like behind the guy that's going slow. So you get a lot of that going on there as well, because it's we don't have a problem with it at all. We love when people come.
We love when people come.
But you got to be prepared for people kind of calling you, hey man, you know what? It's January. I can't do this winter season anymore. Right after September, you start getting like the phone calls like, hey, you guys busy in November? Blah blah blah. That kind of stuff. So
I told our family that lives in the north, if at one point or another you feel like you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of digging yourself with the snow, just give us a call, and mi casa es su casa.
Yeah, so that's another thing. If you can't handle like tourists, if you can't handle like people wanting to come and stay with you because you live in the sunshine state, Florida might not be for you. The next one is pay rate. So the pay rate in Florida, generally speaking, is around like 10 or so % lower than the rest of the continental U.S. So if you're, call it $100 grand, for example, if you can get a $100 grand job out in Chicago, typically down in Florida, you might be looking at like 80 grand or so. So that's the pay rate is definitely a little bit different than the rest of the U.S.
Yes, it definitely does make a difference. But at the same time, you're not paying state taxes.
That's actually huge. At the end of the day, yes, you don't have to worry about the state taxes, and there's some other little benefits in there. But even the cost of living in Florida, at least generally speaking, like today, 2024, is roughly comparable with the rest of like.
It evens out. It does even out.
Yeah, the rest of the U.S. Now, finally, so the 5th one. So let's kind of recap really quick. We said number 1, we said weather, bugs, tourists, pay rate. Number 5, closing us out from the top 5 here, is a slower pace of life.
That was a big adjustment for me. When we lived in Chicago, or the Chicago area, everything is very fast-paced. Go, 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 go. Down here, it is a whole different ball game. And when we had to I had to wait in line for something, or I had to wait for the maintenance guy to come at his leisure per se. They're actually pretty good, but they were not Chicago good. Like, I'll put a request and they will be in here within an hour. In Chicago, they will be in their apartment within an hour. Down here, it will be within the day. So
maybe
it is
maybe
an adjustment because Florida is a very slow, safe, and easy state. If you're coming from a busier place like Chicago, New York, this is going to be a huge adjustment. It is going to take you a bit to get adjusted to it, but once you're adjusted to it, you're kind of like, just go with it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this is just the Tampa Bay area, but we found that like stoplights take forever relative to like relative to like Chicago and Detroit, just kind of like 1 or 2 minutes. All right, but here it's like you're waiting there forever. That's just a me thing, maybe.
But there is no red light tickets.
Yet. So that's actually a cool thing too. So yeah, having a slower pace of life, and the biggest contributions to those are two things. It's twofold. So number one is tourists, like we were speaking beforehand. You got the tourists that are, hey, they're here on vacation. Nobody's in a rush on vacation. You're taking it slow, safe, and easy. But number two, we generally have an older population. So you go to the kind of like the Clearwater Safety Harbor area, you'll get kind of like Wendy was saying, you're going to be getting behind Grandma. And Grandma Stella ain't in a rush to go ahead and get her groceries done. She's not in a rush.
She's looking for quality, not quantity.
She's looking at taking her time, not saving time. So, so right then and there, that's going to round out the top 5 reasons why, if you can't handle these 5 things, Florida may not be for you.